Hi. So I thought I'd try something different today. As you can probably hear, it's raining fairly heavily out there, so I thought I'd try something that's both inside and outside. I hope that you enjoy it. And today we're talking about the Trecena of K'at. Very important Trecena because we have Wajxakib bats occurring during the Trecena of K'at, but there's also some other things in there that I thought I'd like to bring out today. And it's going to be slightly different to the way that I normally look at the Trecenas, because I want to look at the Mayan cross, which develops from one cat as part of this Trecena. Now, when we look at the Mayan cross, this is what we use, particularly when we're talking about the astrology of the cross, when we're talking about people's astrology and how we're working with it. I call it astrology. There are some other names for it, but let's say it's a life path guidance reading that we use the cross for. Now, the cross shows us where we're conceived, where our energy is, and then what our future is. And the reason why I'm so enthusiastic about talking about the cross today is because it takes us through to the day of creation. So we see this wrapped up, and we see it wrapped up in the mythology, we see it wrapped up in the mathematics. And so I thought I'd share that with you today. So, I'm recording this on the day Trecena of K'at. Trecena of K'at, the conception that comes from the spirit world, the conception that comes from the ancestors. And a lot of this, I feel, links back with the Popol Vuh, and this is, again, a perspective that we can include into our understanding of what occurs over the next few days. So, Trecena of K'at. This could be seen as the conception of the world in one way or another. We have Akabal, conception, 13, spirit, ancestors. We then go into one cat, which was going to begin the Trecena of K'at. Now, K'at, as a Nawal, I can't necessarily say that each of the Nawalis, each of the day signs, each of the energies has its own particular god or goddess attached to it. But one of the ones which is really, let's say, maybe a bit more within my sphere of knowledge is the connection between the Nawal K'at and the goddess Wajxakib. Now, Wajxakib is the mother of the hero twins. The hero twins in the Popol Vuh go into the underworld to rescue the head of their father, to bring it back to the world. Their father is called Wajxakib, and in some ways he represents the new sun. Hun, new, Wajxakib, sun. Okay? And so what they're doing is they're going down into the underworld to bring the light back to the world. Their father is Wajxakib, their mother is Wajxakib, and Wajxakib is the daughter of an underworld lord. And so what we see in the hero twins is a fusion of both underworld and upperworld, of the solar deity and the underworld deity, to bring balance. This is how they manage to get through the tricks of the underworld and bring their father's head back to the world. So, Wajxakib representing K'at. Today, Trecena of K'at, the day of conception. K'at, the implantation. Because one of going to show you in this glyph here, one of the ways that we can see this, or the way that I see it in particular, is it rather looks like a seed being planted into the ground somehow. And we could look at this as conception occurring and then the implantation into the womb of the fertilized egg. So K'at can represent that. The goddess Wajxakib is connected with K'at through her magical net. When she goes to the garden of Ishmakane, her mother-in-law, to announce that she's pregnant with the grandchildren of Ishmakane, and Ishmakane is like, yeah, you know, kind of like, I'm not sure whether I believe you. My sons are dead. You know, you're a pregnant woman turning up on my doorstep. Why should I believe you? She sets her a task, as in all legendary, epic journeys, the heroes are always tested. And so she sets her this task to go to the back garden and harvest some corn. Now when she gets there, Wajxakib finds that the corn plants, well, they're basically dry, they're not very good, and there's not a lot of corn on them. she puts her net down onto the ground, and then she starts pulling corn silk from the ears, and as she drops the corn silk into the net, they magically turn into these cobs of corn, which in turn proves to Ishmakane that Ishkik is truly pregnant with her grandchildren. So this is this kind of like connection that can be seen in there. And what we also see with this way of creation is that as we go through, if we were to look at it through the lens of the Mayan cross, what we would see is that we would see the past, what we call the conception, takes place in one cat. The main Nawal takes place in 9 and then the future takes place in 4 Achpu. 4 Achpu being the recreation of the world, the manifestation of the divine into the material world. And so this is beginning. So as I talk about the Trecena of K'at, I'd also ask to take into consideration that this is an extremely creative time for creating the new world, for bringing the divine into the physical plane, because this is where we're kind of conceiving it. And it's going to play out over the next 16 days or so. So it's a little bit more than a Trecena. But it all moves through the day Wajxakib Bats. It all moves through the day Belaheb the 9 into culminating into this 4 Achpu. Now, where do we know 4 Achpu from? Well, we know it from the Stellar Sea at Quirigua, which shows us the day of the beginning of the 4th age, depending on kind of like how you correlate it, 11th, 12th, 13th of August 3114 BC. 4 Achpu was also the day of the beginning of the 5th age, as it were, on 21st of December 2012. And so 4 Achpu is a really, really important day. Now that's going to fall outside of the Trecena of K'at, but it falls in the cross, which begins on the day 1 K'at. So it's like you're literally planting the seed into the ground for what you're going to harvest, for what you're going to develop, for what's going to come into creation on 4 Achpu. Okay, so I know that might sound a little bit complicated, that there's all these cycles, all these rhythms working within the calendar, all these times of creativity, all these times of creation happening one on top of the other. But for me, this only goes to show the importance of the day 1 K'at for planting the seeds which you wish to germinate into this world. It's really important that we focus on what we wish to grow. Now, last year I was taking a breathwork course here with one of my friends in San Marcos, and she told a story about a guy who wanted to harvest sweet mangoes. And basically the whole point was like, well, if you want to harvest sweet mangoes, you plant sweet mangoes. So it's, for me, really important to be aware of what seeds we're actually planting, because whatever we plant will grow. So if we're planting seeds of what we don't want to bring into the world, what we don't want to create, if we're always talking about the things that we don't like, well, they're going to grow as well. Now, it's not about being blinkered to the truth of our human experience. It's not about being blinkered to what's going on in the world either. But it's really important that when we see ourselves as the gardener in this world, when we see ourselves as planting our garden, that we actually plant what we really want to bring into this world. So it's a great time to get onto that creativity, to use your words, to use your energy, to use your drive, to use your passion, to actually grow what you want, grow what you like, grow what you wish to bring into the world. So I invite you to do that. So we're going to go through the Trecena of K'at now, and of course we're going to begin on the day 1 K'at. The day 1 K'at, 1, beginning, novelty, newness, birth. K'at, the net. It's looking through and seeing what you want to keep, what you want to let go of. It gives us this this discernment that gives us this ability to work out what we want to carry with us, what we're going to plant into this new field, these new seeds that we're going to put in, what we want to carry over the next 260, over the next 268 days, over the next 276 days, however we look at it, all of these cycles coming together. What do you want to plant? If you were to go 260 days into the future and look back, where is your focus right now? What are you planting into the world around you? What are you, whether it's physically or metaphorically, what are you choosing to create through your words, your actions, your posts on Facebook, however it might be? What seeds are you planting into your garden? Are you planting those sweet mangoes? Because there's a time for everything. And this time to focus on our creativity, to focus on really what we want to see. Now, of course, we might need some advice. The one often looking for around for advice as to how we're going to plant, what we're going to plant, when we're going to plant it. And Kat saying, okay, it's, you know, the net, the gathering net that we're putting our harvest into as well is literally you're going to reap what you sow. So maybe choose what you sow well. Maybe get some advice on what's good for this time. What should I sow right now? Because this is the beginning of that creativity. This is that possibility coming in. So from one cat, we then go to can. Can being the power, can being the wisdom, can being the body lightning within us. And, you know, again, sometimes I see the calendar, the progression of the days. We've had the conception and we've had the implantation. Now we're getting the spark of life comes in to bring it to life. Can also represents the balance between wisdom and power. It can very much represent the balance of power. And here, with the 2-day, we get to see the duality of it, the dualistic nature of power. Perhaps we get to see how power can be used, how it can be shared, how it can be used to empower others, how we can use our wisdom to empower others, and at the same time, we can see the abuse of power. We can see the dark side as well as the light. Maybe 2 can brings that out into stark reality where we literally see things in black and white. And so it gives us an opportunity to exercise our wisdom, to share our wisdom, to empower those around us. But again, once again, not just looking on, let's say, the light side of things, understanding that there is always a balance. And when we can see that, when we're not turning a blind eye to maybe the misuse of power or the manipulation that's going on from certain places and that kind of thing, Toucan is saying, right, okay, use this in a balanced way, use your wisdom in a balanced way so you can understand exactly the way that the power is working. From Toucan, we're then going to go into 3 Kame. So Kame, all about transformation, also about death. It could be, with the 3, we're looking at the inner world, we're looking at the internal stuff that's going on. It can be looking at kind of like what you have to leave behind in order to move forward, as I say, going to this creativity. It can be looking inside of yourself for the transformation. And I think for me this is a really important one. It's about transformation within your home, it's about transformation within yourself. Self, the body being the home of the soul. And so it might say, well, if you're looking for this transformation to occur from outside in some kind of way, maybe look again. Maybe look at how you can transform within in order to make those seeds grow, in order to help those seeds grow, in order to create what you will in the world. 3 Kame is also possibly going to bring up some inner fears. Kame always brings up stuff that we're ready to move on from. You know, it's kind of like as we germinate, as those little seeds that we planted on one cat start to move into this world, they have to push through stuff. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to push through stuff. Sometimes facing those fears which are within us are the biggest ones to face. And so 3 Kame might be a great day to take a retreat in your home, to look inside yourself, to spend an introspective day working on your inner world, working on your inner fears, and seeing how you can transform them, seeing how you can overcome them. From 3 Kame, we're then going to move into 4 K'at. Now, this is a really stable day, because in many ways, K'at can represent the number 4. And of course it's here coupled with the number 4, because K'at represents the animal kingdom, and so we have literally the 4 on top of the 4, the 4-legged ones in their natural environment. This is a great day for anything to do with animals, looking after your animals, caring for your animals, caring for the animals outside of your world as well. Also for a great day to really physically connect with the natural world, to look for your strength in nature, to look for your strength, your also like the wisdom of nature, to understand how that can empower your journey, how it can empower your growth, how it can empower your creation. We always need to take this time to balance with nature in one way or another. I often think it's really important on K'at days, if we can get out into the wilderness, into the forests, up into the mountains if you like. It really helps to balance everything out. And 4 K'at brings you the strength to move forward. You know, we've just gone through this day where we've been looking at our inner fears. It's kind of like 4 K'at comes in to revitalise us. It's a nice gentle number, because sometimes K'at can be a little bit overbearing. But with the 4, this is about bringing pure material stability. And that stability coming through our connection with nature. So 4 K'at, great encouragement to go take a walk in the forest, in the wilderness, in order to reconnect, in order to bring out your true strengths, in order to gain wisdom. From 4 K'at, we're then going to go into 5 Anil. So 5 Anil, another day of work. Well, the 5 is always the day of work, right? Here it's about putting into our energy into what we wish to bring to ripeness. Once again, you know, this is that parable about planting the sweet mangoes. Put your energy into what you want to ripen. Many of us are very distracted right now. Many of us are distracted by everything that's going on in the world, which we know is important things, we know which is big things, but really where's it taking you? How is it helping you to mature? And how is it helping you to tend to what you wish to bring in? Those seeds that you planted. 5 Anil gives you the opportunity to really kind of like put your energy, put your work into what you wish to bloom, into what you wish to really harvest. Because Anil is always promising us that we're going to be able to harvest it. It's always the promise of a great and abundant, mature harvest crop to come in. 5 says we've got to put some effort into it, we've got to put some work into it. You know, it's like we put our seeds in the ground. We can't just expect them to do their own thing. Maybe this is a great day to go check on them, to go and put a little bit of fertiliser on, to go and pay them some attention, to put your energy into them. So 5 Anil, whatever you want to bring to fruition, put your energy into it on that day, and you'll be assured of a great harvest. From 5 Anil we then go into 6 Toch. So Toch, the Nawal of payment, the Nawal of sacrifice. Toch, the Nawal which we're going to give back on. We give back for what we've received. It's about making an offering. Now, this could be an offering, as I say, for what you've received. It could be an offering for what you will receive as well. So it's like paying it forward. It's like putting our money into our piggy bank, so that we have the energy there for the future times. So Toch is very much about paying off our debts. It's a great day to pay off any family debts, whether they're yours or members of your family. 6 Toch, because the 6 can represent the family itself, can be seen as paying off those family debts. And what does that bring? It brings stability, because the number 6 is also seen as the greatest number of stability. So it's a really good day to look around to what needs to be paid back, because when you do, that's going to bring stability not just to you, but to your family as well. From 6 Toch, we move into 7Z. We're approaching the initiation day. 7Z is our guide, taking us to the top of the pyramid, the 7 being the top of the pyramid, the Z being the one that guides, our faithful, loyal, loving guide that takes us where we need to go. Now 7 can also be endings. It can be the representation of being able to see in many directions from the top of the pyramid. It's about choices as well. So Z we can associate with faith and loyalty and justice and law. And so it's like, choose what you're going to put your faith into. Once again, we see it's up to us to think about what we want to plant. Where are we going to pin our loyalty? Where are we going to pin our faith? And 7 will bring up kind of like maybe some very good examples. It shows us from the top of the pyramid, these are our options. Which one do you want to choose? Which one, as we go through this time of growth, as this planting comes through, as we go through this creative time, so which one do you want to choose? Do you want to choose that way or that way? It's up to you. It's, you know, the choice is going to be yours. But we may find that it's brought into this sort of like a very stark reality on 7C as to kind of like, you've got to make a choice now. So what you have faith in, where you pin your loyalty, and take it to its conclusion. From 7C we move into one of the most important days in the calendar, 8 Bats, Wajxakib Bats. This is the day of the beginning of the new ceremonial cycle. This is the day often when new Wajxakib, that's Mayan spiritual guides, when they're initiated, so it can be seen as an initiation day. It can be seen as the beginning of a big cycle. It's a very, very important day in the calendar, and pretty much throughout Guatemala we'll find ceremonies being held. We'll be having ceremonies here in San Marcos, there'll be ceremonies in Momostenango, there'll be ceremonies up in Poptun, all over the country. There'll be ceremonies, and people will travel a long distance to go to places like Momostenango to go and make their ceremony. Now, even if people don't make ceremony every week or every Trecena or something like that, often people make an exception when it's Wajxakib Bats. It's kind of like, could be thought of a bit like Christmas Day within like the Christian calendar, as it were. It's a really important day. It's a really important day to give thanks for life itself. It's a really important day to give thanks for the calendar, Bats being the Nawal of the calendar, the weaving together of space and time. Bats is also about our creativity, and I see it with the 8 representing the 1, the new creation that we just come out of this Trecena of Bats, the 7, the old creation, coming together in this 8, coming together in this ball, this creativity. It's like the seam which joins the old and the new together. And so Wajxakib Bats can really be seen as the passing over of the baton from the teacher to the student, from the old to the new, the ones who are going to take it forward, the new initiates that are coming in. So it's a great day of initiation, it's a great day to make ceremony, it's a great day to make ceremony for your own creativity, to give thanks for the creativity of everybody on this planet, and to ask us to help to understand how to create together, how to weave together to create harmony. From 8 Bats we then go into 9 Now 9 as I said before, this is the within the cross, this is the next step on from 1 K'at. This is the centre day. And 9 is literally, well, we can think of the 9 as being life, and we can think of as being the journey or the path. This is all about our life path. Once again, there's a choice. Once again, it's saying, okay, where's your life path taking you? Where do you want it to take you? There is always an element of choice in our path. 9 is saying, okay, what's your real life path? It's a great day to make an inquiry about that. It's a great day to understand more about your life path. 9 is also a day which we represent with the feminine, because the number 9 can represent the feminine. So it can also be about the feminine path. Maybe it's a great day to seek consultation from a woman with regards to your life path, for example. So there's a great bunch of things. It can also be seen as like celebrating your own life path. Because, it's up to us to celebrate our achievements as well. It's really important to do that from time to time. Where has your life path brought you? Where is your life path heading? These are excellent questions to ask yourself, ask your guides on this day 9 From 9 we then go into 10 So again, another powerful day, another very interesting day. The the staff of the office, the pillar of the community, the authority, the leadership. And combined with the number 10, all about society and community, all about cooperation. So here we have something where we can see leadership through agreement. It's a great day to be working on community, working within your home, helping to make these commitments, these agreements that bond society together, that form the pillars of society. Is a great day to bring harmony into the community, and here we see it through agreement, not through fighting, not through those kind of things. We've got to come to an agreement. We've got to understand each other in order to bring this harmony. Now this can also be within your home. It's about lending a hand. It's about offering assistance. So see this 10 as giving a hand up. And when we do that, that's when we're able to come together to create a harmonious community. And surely that must be something that we're all hoping to create within this world. So 10 is a great day for a village meeting, for a community meeting, to understand how we can all join hands in order to bring harmony to our community. From 10 we're then going to go into 11 Ish being the connection with Mother Earth, connection with the spirit of Mother Earth, connection with the magic within ourselves, connection with the sacred spaces, both the sacred spaces in our outer world, but also the sacred spaces within ourselves. 11 is this number which has many different places to be. It's all around. And so it's drawing on many, many different, possibly even unrelated places, in order to see them all as a sacred connection with Mother Earth. When we look at it, we might see the mountain shrines. We can't see them from here, but they're back there somewhere on Sanko Hill. We might see up on Potrela there. We might see them as Tikal or whatever sacred sites you have in your place, and we might think, these are the places where I really connect with Mother Earth through these shrines and that kind of thing. But there's also your garden. There's also your local park. These are all emanations where we can connect with Mother Earth, and they're all sacred in that way as well. So the 11 Ish gives us the opportunity to draw on all of those resources and help us to connect with her. It's a great day to go and clearing up wherever it might be, to do some beautification work, to help to remove some of the debris left behind by human society, to help to bring Mother Nature into her full glory, to connect with her natural spirit, to look after our mother as we should be doing. So this is a great objective for 11 Ish. And from 11 Ish we then move into 12 Tzikin. So Tzikin, the vision, where are we going to take it? Tzikin, helping everything around us to thrive. I'm going to start using the word thrive rather than the word prosperity, because it's really about everything thriving. Our environment has to thrive in order for us to thrive and in order for our children to thrive. And so Tzikin brings us this long-term vision. It helps us to focus on what's important for the longer term, for the longer benefit, for the benefit of our children. And of course, in this time of creativity, the one cat, the conception, and all of this kind of thing, of course we need a vision for the future, a vision that's going to sustain our own life path, but also that of our children and of our grandchildren. A vision that's going to sustain the natural world around us. And so 12 Tzichin is a great day to be looking at that. And how do we look at it? Well, we look at it with our life experience, because that's what the 12 can represent, is bundling together everything that we've learnt along the way in order to develop this vision. It's maybe almost forming a composite vision from all of our life experience. So maybe there's going to be something that comes back to you if you stop and take some time to focus, to think, to meditate on it. Something from the past, something from your previous experience that comes forward to help you with your vision to go forward. So if you meditate, if you choose to meditate on 12 Tzichin, you might ask, what do I have already in my life experience that can help with my vision to go forward? Where can my focus be based on what I have understood from my life path? 12 Tzichin may help you to bring all of those experiences together into a consolidated vision for the future of how to thrive. And from 12 Tzichin, we're going to go into 13 Achmach. Now, 13 Achmach can be a very strong day of forgiveness. It can be a day of forgiveness from the ancestors, because we have the 13 representing the ancestors, representing the spirit. And so maybe it's been that maybe you're not exactly living your life the way that they'd envisaged. Maybe there's some things that you would like to ask for forgiveness for. Forgiveness from spirit, for example. 13 Achmach is all about that. But there's also something very healing in the 13 Achmach energy. Our ancestors may not have lived exactly the way that we would choose to live now. Our ancestors may have done things quite differently, because that was what their world was about at that time. We may look at it in shock and horror, how could people do such a thing, but it was done. What we don't have to keep doing is repeating the same experience or repeating the same actions. There is an opportunity to break it. There is an opportunity to break the chain. And for me, I feel this comes through forgiveness. Forgiveness of their actions, understanding, thanking, and moving forward with it, to leave it behind. And so it is a great opportunity to do that ancestral healing work, to go back through your lineage, to give forgiveness where it might be needed, to forgive on behalf of your grandparents or your great-grandparents or your great-great-grandparents or wherever there might have been something come in, because often it seems that we relive this through generations. So maybe we're here to heal that lineage. Maybe we're here to heal the damage that may have been done, unintentionally or intentionally, by people in our familiar lineage. 13 Achmach is the exactly correct day to work on that. It's a great day if you have something in, let's say, your spirit past, your ancestral past, where you feel that forgiveness is needed. 13 Achmach is exactly the day for doing that. So, how can you do it? Well, you can do it through ceremony, light a candle, go back, maybe meditate on your lineage. If you have names going back, if you know maybe something in the past that maybe isn't quite in alignment with the way that we live today, maybe you can go back and do some healing work on that. You could use something like Ho'oponopono, which I've found to be a very effective tool for forgiveness and for healing. And that way you're kind of like, again, clearing the ground to ensure that what you're growing is, taken forward without the attachment to what we would be able to forgive from the past. So that's been the Trecena of K'at, and of course we will then be going into the Trecena of Noch after that, where we'll find that Wajxakib, we'll find that new creation. So I hope this has been enjoyable and informative to you, and I look forward to making the next one in 13 days' time. Thank you.